Good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise, December 6th, 2017. Citizen Scott, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Rotarians face the flag and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And Gail Thomas, you have a thought for the day.
I do. It's
Another one here?
arcane.
For sale.
What if Moses had a cell phone and walked right past the burning bush?
Okay, and my thought for the day is success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Joe.
Here we go. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. The inevitable happened. The Christmas tree's lit. We had Christmas music this morning. We should probably sing a Christmas song today. Bruce, you think? Bah humbug, huh? You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it flows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
All right, before you sit down, greet your neighbors, say hello to someone. Give them a hug with a handshake. All right, thank you today for today's greeters, Barbara Fonsagen, Natalie McNamara. And thanks for today's Mike James, Vicki Larson, and Kathy Rogers.
Need a new battery.
Who do we have that's standing in for them?
Kathy's here.
Whoops.
No telling.
Visiting
Matt, do we have any visiting
Rotarian.
Rotarians?
Here he is.
I am very, very pleased to announce the presence here today of Mike Kostrick, the Assistant Governor for us, owner of Patati Park, Liberty Doors. I'm also happy to announce the presence of Tom Ode from the Sebastopol Noon Club. Welcome, Tom. Finally, Christine Schieberl from Santa Rosa West, Construction Management. Thank you, Christine. That's a loud mic.
How about guests? Do we have guests this morning?
I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague from Weeks, Randy Burgess.
Hey, Randy.
I'd like to all welcome our guest speaker, who you hear more from, the immediate past Mayor of Sebastopol, Lou Glass.
What, Captain?
Other guests?
Well, Nikki's not
Andrea's
here.
here.
Yeah, I know.
Andrea.
Well,
Okay, stay down, Andres.
I don't have any new pictures for you. Did you have any exciting new things happen?
Okay, Mike.
Quiet week.
All right, Sam, would you work?
Well, supposedly we got sound working on this.
There, it is Ella in Switzerland. So I just wanted to check in and give you a little update of how it's going here. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is the difference between school in California and school in Switzerland. The first thing that comes to mind is how you get to school. So I take 2 buses and 1 train to school every morning and home from school every afternoon. Kids in my high school come from actually about 12 different cities and villages, so we all meet on 1 of 3 trains in the morning, which is very different from California, where everyone either drives themselves or is driven to school. In Swiss high school, you have all of your classes with the same 25 to 30 students. And so I have my 13 classes with the same 25 students. So the classes that I take are French, math, history, art history, PE, chemistry, economics and law, philosophy, IT, English, physics, visual art, and psychology. So I do take 13 different classes every week, which is quite a bit of work. I'm definitely getting used to it. Another big difference from California and Switzerland is the weather. Today it was actually fairly warm. It was about 45 degrees today, and the average right now in the middle of November is about 35 to 45 degrees every day. So it's definitely fairly cold here, but it's not too bad. I'm getting used to it for sure. Alors, je vais dire quelque chose en français pour vous qui avez pris français au gymnase. Alors, je parle français avec ma famille, mes amis et les autres élèves à l'école. Mais souvent, quand je ne connais pas un mot en français, je vais le dire en anglais avec un accent français. So I just said that I speak French with my family, my friends, and the other students at school, but when I frequently don't know a word in French, I'll just say it in English with a French accent. And yeah, so I think that's all I have to say for today, but I will definitely make sure to check back in later in the year, and I will see you all then. Au revoir.
So again, that's our outbound exchange student, Ella, from Switzerland. Vocalize your vocation. Michael, are you ready?
I am.
We're going to hear today from Michael Phelps.
But you said vocation, I think Michael Phelps.
That's right.
I prepared for vacation, but
Yeah. Okay. Just tell me.
okay. So this is a 2-minute history of many, many years. For almost 40 years, my vocation was devoted to the world of education. Parks Job Corps Center in Pleasanton, Fort Ross School in rural West Sonoma County, Chinle Valley School for Exceptional Children in Chinle, Navajo Nation, El Paso Community College in Texas, and California State University at Los Angeles. My ramble was intermittently fueled by my own education, a BA from UC Berkeley, an MA from Sonoma State, and a PhD from UT Austin. Well, forget all that. With retirement from Cal State LA within reach, I studied playwriting at UCLA, grew my hair, moved back to West County, and started to write. That was December of 2005, and since then I've written several plays, a film treatment, 2 books of short fiction, 1 memoir, 2 books of literary nonfiction, and assorted poetry. So I'd like to read from my short story titled Mrs. Rongo's Halloween. It's in my book, Learning to See Fish. It's a fictionalized account of an incident that occurred while I was principal and upper grades teacher at the Fort Ross School. The setting is the annual school Halloween party for children and their parents. Grace, there are 2 characters. Grace is the elderly custodian, and Yvonne is the lower grades teacher. So here's the excerpt. The hippie parents were something else. They wore elaborate costumes unlike anything Grace had ever seen. John and Mary Lou were dressed as old-growth redwood trees with papier-mâché owls nesting in their branches and thick green moss clinging to their northern trunks. Margot was a boletus mushroom with a large bite taken out of its cap. But the costume that demanded more attention than any other was Miss Yvonne Everly, lower grade teacher. She must have taken the inspiration from her love of horses. Later on, Grace described the getup on the phone to her daughter. It was a flesh-colored body stocking from her neck to her ankles. She was barefoot and had a long blonde wig with flowers woven into it. I mean, at first glance from across the room, she looked completely nude. Really, you couldn't see anything at all, but since she's real busty and she came in with a hobby horse between her legs, she was a real Lady Godiva. So that was my introduction to Fort Ross School. Thank you very much.
You're not going to say anything about the other books?
No, I figured that you'd copy this.
Oh, okay.
I had 2 minutes, that was it.
Okay. Way to Kansas, and his latest one, which will be introduced at a book reading in Occidental, January 19th. There's a so you're all invited to attend.
You are.
Rotary Foundation, we have a presentation, Rob?
Good morning.
Morning, Rob.
Paint's not dry on my appointment as foundation chairman. I already have one of the most wonderful parts of this position, and that's to award not 1 but 3 Paul Harris pins. So what does it mean, and this is for the new members, what does it mean to be a Paul Harris Fellow? Well, for starters, Paul Harris was the founder of Rotary in Chicago back, I think, in 1906. You were there, Bruce. You saw it happen. So that's who Paul Harris is. And to be a fellow means you have contributed $1,000 over any period of time to the Rotary Foundation. And the Rotary Foundation is our charitable arm of Rotary International that supports projects all around the world, from Sebastopol to Singapore, and is extremely effective. Anyway, today I am pleased to invite up here Michael. You shouldn't have walked all the way back, but Michael Fells, and our citizen Scott Hensey, and our president, Bill Sauer. Now, the hitch here is that all of these 3 are already Paul Harris Fellows. So when you've contributed yet another $1,000 to the foundation, you become a Paul Harris +1. And you get a Paul Harris pin, but it has one blue amethyst, I guess. Probably just broken glass. You just go out on the streets of Chicago and sweep it up. So Michael Phelps, +1.
Thank you very much.
And then Citizen Scott is Paul Harris +5. Wow. 5 amethysts there. And for our esteemed president, he is +6. And he gets 1 ruby. So let this be a lesson, especially to our newbies, that once you get up to the $1,000, you're just getting into the habit. And you can keep running your horse from there and accumulate as many of these as you feel happy doing. So let's please stand and honor our just a sentence or two, you have 2 minutes already. I know. About what inspires you about Rotary Foundation?
Yeah, for me, it's the work that they do with the international peace movement and the Peace Fellows. I think that's fantastic, and that's what inspires me and keeps me chipping in a little bit.
And for me, it's been a combination of the international and the Polio Plus. Probably the majority of my donations have occurred as a result of doing an event like Hiking the Trail and pledging $1 a mile and giving to Polio Plus because I felt so blessed to be able to walk when millions of children around the world have not been.
So, you think it's glass and not amethyst, huh? I won't get as much on eBay for it as I thought. You know, I just wanted to say that sometimes I read the news, I watch the TV, and I get downhearted. I mean, I just look at it and I say, you know, people are just no damn good. Nobody cares about the truth. Nobody cares about integrity. And then I come in here and I look at it all, you guys. And one of the reasons we're all together is that we do care about truth and we do care about integrity. So that's one of the many reasons why I love you guys.
And if that doesn't inspire you enough, just this morning I received from our member Kurt Curtis, this is a $500 year-end contribution to the foundation to Polio Plus. Take care of that wrist. So, and the final thing, sorry, President, if you have, the club's goal is that each one of us during this year, which runs from July to June, give at least $100. Is that right? You set as a goal to foundation. And for our newer people who haven't gotten started towards their Paul Harris Fellowship, I will match any gift that you give to the foundation and just write a check to the Rotary Foundation. And I will match that up to $100 per person. So have a go.
So, what happened this day, December 16th? Yes, Barbara.
Okay, since we're basking in the glow of the Rotary Foundation, I want to let you all know that Dale Knight, Bonaparte Gattati, Joe Thornton, Petaluma Valley were just in Ecuador. and they visited the global grant project that we have contributed to, and we visited it 4 years ago when they were planning it, proposing it. We visited it the next year and went to the dedication with the shaman. Well, they were just at the project, and this is a demonstration training farm to train people to go back to their villages to learn how to farm better and using indigenous seeds, seed savings, and all the rest of that kind of good stuff. And the project, I'll have pictures for you when I get it from Dale, is doing phenomenally. And the Rotary Foundation has said it's one of the 30 best projects in the world, and they want to replicate it in other parts of the world. And that is something that we are helping to happen.
So on this day in history, in 1865, the 15th Amendment was ratified, abolishing slavery. Also, on December 6th of 1972, it was the first time the 25th Amendment was invoked, and that was to have a replacement for vice president. Remember, the 25th Amendment did a couple of things, and one of them talked about ways you could remove the president. One of the things that was not clear in the original Constitution was whether the vice president would become the president or the acting president, and the 25th Amendment clarified that. It also established a procedure for the House of Representatives or for the president to nominate a new vice president when that seat was vacated and have Congress ratify it. So that's what occurred, and it was first invoked December 6, 1972. Birthdays in history. Ira Griffin, one of the great songwriters of the country. I Got Rhythm, fascinating rhythm. Someone to Watch Over Me. It's wonderful, it's marvelous. Great songwriter. And Natasha Badman, 1966. She was the first European woman to win the Ironman World Championship. And she dominated that sport during the time when I was kind of getting ready and doing a lot of triathlons. She dominated it for 6 years. Her best ever time was a 9 hour and 7 minutes. Just absolutely awesome. So,
What was your time?
mine was 12 hours and 31 minutes. Yeah, you smoked me. Rotarian birthdays. Jim Gillian. Not here today. All right. December 7th, tomorrow. Pearl Harbor Day. So, now we have the annual meeting. So, where is Gail? According to the Rotary Club Basketball bylaws, we have a club meeting once a year, and it is for the purpose of getting new officers and board of directors. So, Gail.
Thank you, President Bill. We have, of course, our President Bill, and we have our incoming President, Matt Whitteman. And I think I'm going to ask people to come forward so that you can see who your nominating committee is nominating. I think maybe we need a drum roll. Our nomination for President nominee is Lori Darling. Lori, could you come up forward? Thank you. For Secretary is Michael Fells. For Treasurer is Barbara Barney. And I'm thinking, Matt, even though you're already elected, maybe you could come and stand with your group. Then we have the following people that we have nominated for the Board of Directors. We have PJ Larity.
Wow.
Linda Sinkay. Is Linda here today? No. Bob Keyser. Bill Schultes. Linton Hale. Is he here? Yep. You are. Judy Rice. Dan Needham, although I don't see him here, and Rod McConnell. For those of you who are new to Rotary, I have to say this. I don't think when you become president of Rotary, no one tells you that it's an 8-year gig, because you go through being president nominee, and then you're president-elect, then you're president. Then you spend 5 years on the nominating committee. The 5th year, you're chair of it. So, as I say, it's an 8-year gig. I'm now through.
I nominate you to stay on.
But I am pleased and honored to present to this club our nominating committee's recommendation for your officers and next year's board.
Thank you. Bruce?
I'd like to move we accept the nominating committee's report.
Do I have a second? Second. Terry? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Are there any other nominees from the floor? There being none? Yes?
I'd like to move you direct the secretary to cast a unified vote for the nominations presented by the nominating committee.
Yes?
I'll second it.
Is that require a second?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I will say that.
So,
I will report that.
all right, good. All right, so that concludes the nomination of new officers, just in time.
And congratulations to all of us.
You may be seated, and we have some quick announcements. I'm not going to go through them because we want to get our speaker on in time. However, they will be republished in the newsletter, which you all open up and read every week, which Patrick puts together. So, without any further ado, we have Mayor Glass.
Thank you.
Bill,